Emma Rose flinched at the alarm's shrill beep. 3 a.m. Again. She reached for the nightstand, fumbled for the syringe, and pulled herself from bed. Her feet already knew the path to her daughter's room by heart. 7 steps down the hall. Right turn. 4 more steps, every night the same. Every single night without fail. Lily slept curled beneath her pink blanket. The 5-year-old with curly blonde hair looked so fragile. Emma carefully administered the medication through the feeding tube and smoothed the covers. A rare neurological condition prevented her daughter from developing like other children. She couldn't speak, could barely move. But when Emma held her, Lily would open her eyes and look at her mother as though the entire world lived in that gaze. Emma's husband, David, had stopped sleeping in their bedroom a year earlier. He said it was more convenient, that he needed proper rest for work. But Emma knew the truth. He couldn't handle it anymore. Alarms every 3 hours, procedures, hospitals, endless doctor visits where physicians would shake their heads and say, "We're doing everything we can." Their older daughter, 9-year-old Sophie, had learned to play quietly. She'd taught herself not to ask for attention, not to complain, not to cry too loudly. Emma watched her daughter sometimes approach Lily, stroke her arm, and whisper, "When you get better, we'll play together." Emma's heart shattered every time. The window in the nursery overlooked the garden. It was autumn in 2018. Leaves tumbled from the trees, and Emma wondered how many more autumns they'd see together. Doctors wouldn't give predictions. They simply said, "Live each day." But how do you live when you haven't slept in 2 years? When your marriage is crumbling? When your oldest daughter has forgotten what it means to be a child? In the living room, a brochure sat on the table. East Anglia's children's hospices. A social worker had left it the week before. "This doesn't mean you're giving up," she'd said. "It means you're getting help." Emma couldn't bring herself to open the brochure. The word hospice terrified her. It sounded like a verdict, like the end. But that night, standing by her daughter's crib at 3 a.m, Emma realized she couldn't do this anymore. Not alone. She needed help. Any help at all. The phone call came a week later. Emma was wiping her hands on her apron when she heard an unfamiliar voice. "Good afternoon. This is from the Nook Hospice. We've received your application." Her heart skipped. Emma didn't remember filling out the form. She must have done it in a daze between nighttime procedures. The coordinator explained that the hospice could take Lily for respite care. A few days. Professional care. Round-the-clock monitoring. And Emma could rest. Sleep. Spend time with Sophie. "It's safe," the woman repeated. "We care for these children like our own." Emma agreed, though everything inside her clenched with fear. Leave Lily. Trust her to strangers. But exhaustion proved stronger than fear. The first visit to the Nook happened on a cold January morning in 2019. The building looked unexpectedly welcoming. Large windows, bright walls, children's drawings everywhere. Emma held Lily in her arms, clutching her tighter than usual. Sophie walked beside them, gripping her mother's hand. A nurse met them in the lobby. She smiled so genuinely that Emma felt the tension ease slightly. "You can stay with Lily as long as you want," the nurse said. "We'll show you the room, introduce you to the equipment. Everything here is designed to give you peace of mind." The room had a comfortable bed, a chair for parents nearby. Photos of other children hung on the wall. Happy. Smiling. Emma wondered, is such happiness possible here, in a hospice? An hour later, she left Lily and drove home. Sophie fell asleep in the car, for the first time in months without tears. And that night, Emma went to bed and slept 8 hours straight, for the first time in 2 years. She woke in the morning consumed by guilt. How could she sleep when Lily was there, alone? But when Emma rushed to the hospice, the nurse showed her photographs. Lily with a volunteer in the sensory room, Lily listening to music, Lily in a caregiver's arms while they read her a story. The little girl looked peaceful, well cared for, happy. "She's fine," the nurse said. "And you need to be fine too. Lily needs you healthy." Emma cried, not from grief, from relief. Months passed. Lily came to the Nook every 3 weeks. Emma began recognizing other parents, a woman with a son who had cerebral palsy, a young couple with a daughter who couldn't breathe without a machine. They all looked exhausted. But here, at the hospice, they could talk to each other, share fears, cry, laugh at the absurdity of situations that would seem horrific to outsiders. One day the coordinator told Emma, "In November, we're having a special visitor, the Duchess of Cambridge. She's a patron of our organization." Emma shrugged. The royal family seemed distant to her. Unreal. What could a duchess possibly understand about their pain? But on November 15th, 2019, Emma found herself at the hospice on the day of the visit anyway. Not for the Duchess. It just happened to coincide with Lily's scheduled stay. Kate Middleton appeared in a purple suit. Emma expected to see a forced smile, formal handshakes, a quick walkthrough and exit. But the Duchess lingered with each child. She knelt beside a boy in a wheelchair, took the hand of a girl with tubes, listened to parents not as an obligation, but genuinely. Her eyes glistened when she embraced one of the mothers. When Kate approached Emma and Lily, she didn't ask routine questions. She simply sat on the floor next to the mat where the little girl lay and said, "Hello, beautiful." Lily turned her head. It was a miracle. She rarely responded to strangers. "She hears you," Emma whispered. "She understands." Kate took Lily's hand in hers. "I know," she said quietly. "I have 3 children too. I can tell when a child is listening." Emma began to talk. Words poured out on their own. About sleepless nights. About how Sophie had become too grown up for her 9 years. About how her husband had grown distant. About the guilt, the fear. About being terrified to come to the hospice because she thought it meant surrender. Kate listened. Didn't interrupt. Didn't offer advice. When Emma fell silent, the Duchess said, "You're incredibly strong. You're doing everything possible. And being here doesn't mean you've given up. It means you love your daughter enough to accept help." Emma couldn't hold back. Tears flowed freely. Kate embraced her, firmly, genuinely. Not as a duchess hugging a subject, but as one mother embracing another. "I'll think of you," Kate whispered. "Of Lily, I promise." A year and a half passed. Spring of 2021 brought hope and new challenges. The pandemic changed everything. The hospice operated with restrictions. Visits became less frequent. Emma found herself alone again with sleepless nights. But in June, the coordinator called with unexpected news. The Duchess wants to visit. She's created a project. She wants to build a garden for the children and their families, a place where they can rest outdoors. On June 27th, 2020, Emma found herself at the hospice again, this time with Lily and Sophie. Kate arrived with plants, lavender, rosemary, geraniums, sunflowers. She'd chosen them herself at a garden center the week before. Emma didn't expect the Duchess to remember her. So much time had passed. So many other families. But when Kate saw her, her face lit up with a smile. "Emma!" "Lily, how wonderful to see you." She remembered. Remembered the name. Remembered the story. They worked together. Kate, in her beautiful floral dress, wasn't afraid to get dirty. She dug soil, planted flowers, laughed when she dropped a pot of sunflowers. Sophie helped her. The girl looked happy for the first time in ages. She wasn't the older sister of a sick child. She was just a child planting flowers with a duchess. Lily lay on a blanket nearby. Kate periodically approached her, stroked her head, hummed a quiet melody. "She loves music?" the Duchess asked. Emma nodded, too overcome to speak. When the work was finished, Kate sat beside Emma on the new garden bench. Flowers bloomed all around them. Sophie and other children ran along the pathways. Lily lay in the shade with a smile on her face. "Thank you," Emma breathed, "not just for the garden, for remembering, for being here." Kate took her hand. "I promise to think of you. I always keep my promises." In that moment, Emma understood. Hope can grow even where it seems none remains, like flowers in a hospice garden, like a smile on her daughter's face, like the kindness of a stranger with a royal title who had become something more, had become a lifeline. Emma cried, but these were different tears, not of despair, of gratitude. 3 more years passed. Lily turned 9. Doctors marveled that she was still with them. Emma knew why. The hospice had become their second family. The nurses knew Lily better than many relatives. Volunteers came to their home, helped with procedures. Emma could breathe again. David returned. Not immediately, gradually. He started sleeping in their bedroom again, going with them to the hospice, playing with Sophie. One day he admitted, "I just didn't know how to cope. I thought if I stepped back, it would be easier." But it only got worse. Sophie grew up. At 12, she became a volunteer at the local school, helping children with special needs. "I want to be like those people at the hospice," she told her mother. "I want to help." And Lily still lay in her pink room, didn't speak, could barely move. But when the family gathered together, when Emma sang to her, when Sophie read stories, the little girl would open her eyes and look at them. That gaze was enough. Emma often remembered that day in the garden, the scent of lavender, Sophie's laughter, Kate's hand in hers, a promise that was kept. She no longer feared the hospice. She understood. This isn't a place where you give up. It's a place where you gather strength, where you find support, where you remember that even in the darkest times, there are people ready to extend a hand. One evening, tucking Lily into bed, Emma whispered, "You know what I realized? Miracles don't happen when illness goes away. Miracles happen when someone simply stays by your side." The moon shone through the window. In the garden outside their home grew lavender that Emma had planted herself, remembering that day at the hospice. The fragrance filled the room, and in that fragrance was hope. Always had been. Sometimes you just needed another heart to remind you. Somewhere in Norfolk, the Nook Hospice Garden bloomed. Children laughed on benches. Parents found peace among flowers. And in the royal palace, a woman in a purple suit remembered names, remembered stories, remembered promises. And that changed everything. The family name has been changed to protect privacy. This story is based on real events at EATH Hospice between 2012 and 2020. Some details have been supplemented with artistic interpretation to create a cohesive narrative.